It's the 28th of November 2020. Another Cult Saturday show. Another good show in store. But first of all, today's sponsor, you can't see the writing because the writing's on screen, but Northern Summer Clothing. As always, this guy, his merch it's good stuff. It's fun to wear, it's comfortable to wear, and it's for all situations. Joining me on today's show, as always, the co-host of the Cult Saturday show, Xavier. How is it going, my friend?
I'm good, man. How you doing, Harrison?
Yeah, I'm good. I think I finally recovered from the Packers game. What a game, eh? Let's start there before, we're going to the Titans. We're going to the ins and outs of that game soon, but let's start at the Packers game. What did you like in that game?
I really liked in the second half how hard our offensive line fought. I like how hard our defensive line fought the whole game. They only had 66 yards on the ground. That was pretty impressive. Any team that cannot run the ball, especially come time in the playoffs, really won't win. That's how the Titans made such a big run. That's how the Patriots have really made their money. Tom Brady, of course, being the great quarterback he is, he dinks and dunks and stuff like that. But they've always been complimented with a really good power run game. So Packers need to figure that out if they want to do anything really down the road, in my opinion. They need to figure out how to play better run defense. And I don't think it's a personnel issue. I think they got the personnel. I just think that the coaching's bad. That's just my opinion on it, defensively at least.
Yeah.
LaFleur's a great offensive coach, don't get me wrong, but defensively he needs to get him a different defensive head coach because his plan just isn't working.
Yeah. So what I seen, and I was talking about this on the new show I'm on, which is the Russian Fumble. Catch on Spotify. Cheeky free plug for us there. It's me and a Green Bay fan, and we just, we talk a lot of crap about our own teams, about everyone else's team. It's just a bit of fun. And I was saying to their defensive line, didn't play that bad. I thought they played quite a good game. Apart from, I want to say their left tackle maybe, who somehow could false start every play and never get called on it. It was magical. But
oh yeah, Bakhtiari. Yeah.
It might even be you who put it on Twitter. But from what I saw of their defensive line, they didn't have a bad game.
Yep.
And it got to the point we was, what was he, 28-14 down at the half. And I was like, do I just, go to bed now? I was knackered. I'd work the next day. Obviously, it's later here for the UK fans than it is you guys. I was like, do I just go to bed? And I thought, no, I don't know what it is with this team, but I've just got a feeling we can win games, no matter the score, especially when Philip Rivers is in that mood of, okay, he had one interception, but it was a tip play, and they happen. They're a bit random, but this team we just finding a way to win, aren't we?
Oh yeah, especially in overtime like that. Once they got the ball, I was like, "Holy shit! Here we go. Here goes Aaron Rodgers driving down the field, winning in overtime." And then Julian Blackmon just comes up and makes a fantastic play. I was so hyped, dude. I was so hyped. I couldn't believe he did that. DeForest Buckner runs over, just falls on it. Rest is history. Then, the Specs man himself hits the game winner. That was pretty nice. I mean, that game was just 7 turnovers apiece. Two turnovers for the Colts in the first half, and then plus the missed field goal, giving the ball to Rodgers at the 40. I'm calling that a turnover. Aaron Rodgers at the 40-yard line. Yeah, I got to do that. And then, of course, the fumble on the kickoff for Aaron Rodgers. That must have killed him. All the momentum in that game, they still had a little bit at that point. Once that fumble happened, Aaron Rodgers probably sitting on the sideline like, oh, my God, man, no way.
Yeah. A crazy game. A very good game. Don't understand why it wasn't prime time. I don't get the US broadcasting rules and rights and how they do it, but, that's a game. It almost felt like a playoff game, didn't it? Especially,
oh, yeah.
Especially, the Specs Rodrigo. kicking the field goal in overtime. It was just a crazy game. But yeah, okay, just big shout out to Julian Blackman for that play. A great play. The more you watch it, the more you realise how good that play is, knocking out of MVS's hands. But one thing I don't agree with, and that is just daft, is MVS was receiving death threats after that game. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's a load of shit, man. There's no reason for anything like that at all.
Especially when he caught that 50-yard pass, I think it was, from Rodgers to get him into field goal range into the first place.
Yeah, caught a huge bomb on third down within their like 10, I think. That was the biggest play of the game for them, hands down.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, if it was Jonathan Taylor or Nike Hines who fumbled it, I would be mad. Of course I would. But death threats, it's just a bit pathetic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on back onto a brighter note, and that is the Colts. And we're a top 5 team at the minute, I'd say.
Oh, yeah.
The league. Defense is number 1. And it actually glitched out. It said defense was number 2 and the offense was number 1. But when looking at it, our offense was like 11. But if we can have a good game against the Titans, obviously we're missing a few stars, but if we can pick up a win there, we're a top 3 team, I'd say.
Oh, yeah. There's actually a few people I'll follow on YouTube that I give a lot of credibility to. I watch them and I listen to what they got to say, and they're really thoughtful. And it's the Underdog channel. He's got about 12,000 subscribers, and he has the Colts at number 3 right now, behind the Steelers and the Chiefs. And I really like seeing that. Now, me, myself, would I put the Colts at 3? That is a hard question. I really would want to, because I think our defense is definitely better than the Saints, and that's what the Saints are getting prided on right now. It's not their offense, especially without Drew Brees. And their offense hasn't looked also superpowered this year, even when Drew Brees was playing with Michael Thomas. It's looked good, but it's kind of like ours. It's consistent. They just turn the ball over less. That's the difference between us and theirs. And he was saying, there was another thing that I agreed with, that a lot of teams judge teams based on the first 4 games. So based on the first 4 games is how everybody looks at every team. And of course, in them first 4 games, we lost to Jacksonville, and people were like, oh, the Colts are bad, blah, blah, blah. Now we're picking up momentum. We're peaking at the right time. We're beating all the good teams. I think we're going to be a top 3 team by next week. I think once we beat the Titans, we are a top 3 team, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, so looking over the Green Bay game, a few plays stand out. And you might be able to explain this to me because, when it comes to breaking down the game, I'm still quite a novice. But we're winning the game. Aaron Rodgers is backed up in his own end zone, and we still rush 4. Is there sense to still rush him 4, or is it – because I was thinking, just rush one guy, drop everyone off. Play 11 safeties if you have to. Because it was a Hail Mary play and eventually got him back into the game.
Yeah, I was thinking at least a cover 4 or something like that. If you're not going to bring pressure, then yeah, like you said, drop a lot of people back. Now, bringing 4, that's our base 4-3. We could have went to like a dime package, especially down there or something, had 3 rushing and then had 8 covering or something. Something along those lines. But still, we could have done something other than just have our base 4-3 Tampa 2, versus and then put Bobby Okereke on their fastest receiver. And it's like, I was like, man, like there's got to be someone that is aware of that matchup right there.
Yeah.
But I guess not. I guess it happens. You live, you die. But at least we won the game. We would have looked back on that if we lost that game and been like, damn, we let that one get away.
Yeah. We built up so much momentum. Philip Rivers is getting really hot at the minute. And you can't, at the start of the season, like you said, we lost the Jags, and a lot of Colts fans were saying, why did we get Philip Rivers? He's over the hill, he's done. But I've got to admit, I was starting to like Philip Rivers, and now I'm really liking Philip Rivers. He is showing the quarterback of 2-3 years ago. And just what he can do behind our offensive line. And, Michael Pittman, congrats on the first TD for him in the NFL, by the way. But he's a stud. Zach Pascal's really stepped up his game. T.Y. Hilton is a different type of player this year. And just players have really stepped up the game. Do you think that's a lot to do with Philip and his leading ability?
Yeah, I think, and now especially that he's really settled into this offense, he's getting the swing of things. He's finally got Michael Pittman back. He's loving that, and it's pretty apparent because he's finding him on crossing routes for big gains. Yeah. Last 2 games have been no exception for that. The biggest thing I really like about Philip Rivers currently, because I've gave him a shit ton of flack, man. I've been a monkey on his back a few times, dude, like bad. And a few times he's deserved it. I'll be honest about it. A few times he has deserved it. But what I'm seeing from Philip Rivers right now is him truly being acclimated to this system. He's figured it out. He knows what he's doing. He's making better reads. He's knowing when to pass, when to play action. And I think that's more being comfortable in the system, knowing what's going to happen on every play, seeing it against different coverages now this far into the season. And the last thing is just his leadership. Because, man, he wants to win, and I love that. That's the one thing I love the most. You could be a bad player. I don't care. But if you want to win and you truly want to win, you'll lay your body on the line. You'll lay your game on the line to win. I'm all for you playing, man, especially on the Colts.
Yeah, we had that last year, drafting Leonard. We saw that last year on the defense. It became a real factor. And now it's a real factor on the offense with, of course, people want to win, but Philip Rivers, he could have come to the Colts. He could have collected his paycheck, gone an 8-8 season, sort of just rided the wave until retirement and walk off with Frank Reich hand in hand. But he's really come in. He's shaken things up, and he's got that dog attitude about him. And you back Philip Rivers into a corner. Colts fans hate him because he always did it to us. For years, he did it to us, beating us, making us look silly. And now we've actually got him to okay, now we're starting to get it. But what I did like against the Packers, and I've not said this a lot, but was the offensive play calling. I thought it was a real mix, a real variety, a couple of swings and screens. As much as I hate them, but there was in there good runs. Jonathan Taylor, I thought, had a brilliant game. But is it just the Colts becoming more comfortable with who we are? We've found an identity.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right on that. We played the Browns, and the Browns don't have the best defense, but we look bad against them. Mm-hmm. And that was just you could tell the whole game, nobody on the offense is comfortable. If your quarterback's not comfortable, nobody is. That's just how it works. Nobody's going to play well. The Browns stacked the box on us. Philip Rivers couldn't throw because he just didn't have the timing with these receivers. Now he's getting his timing down. Now he's getting his reads down based on what these teams are doing. Philip Rivers looks like a different player now than he did 5 weeks ago. And that's vastly apparent to me.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. What was I going to say about the Packers game? Yeah, that was it. Who's our best running back? Because after looking at the Packers game, and one play in particular was Jacoby Brissett with a quarterback sneak, and I think he went into beast mode, didn't he? Absolute beast mode, and took 7 Packers with him. Obviously. Yeah. Just for those who think I'm being serious, I obviously know he's not a running back, but could we see more of a sort of Taysom Hill thing with what the Saints are doing? Obviously, he's not going to go up and catch a 20-yard pass as a tight end, but could we see more of you think we bring Jacoby in for a run, but really throwing a slant to T.Y.?
Oh, yeah. I love his utilization, man. I like Brissett. He's a winner, dude. He wants to win. Started the year for us. He knows the system under Frank Reich. He's just kind of a curveball kind of guy. You throw in there. Is he going to run read option? He's going to throw the RPO, going to throw the slant. What's he going to do? That just keeps teams on their toes, especially when you got a quarterback like Brissett. Because Brissett is, borderline starting material. in the NFL, every bit. And he can make reads. He's smart. He's very smart with the ball. He doesn't turn the ball over at all. I really like how Reich is using him. I really do.
Good. It is good because you need depth. You need more than one player in a position to win, and you need that competition. You don't want Philip Rivers to get lazy and think he has the job nailed down. But we love Brissett in Indy. I think it shows he is a good backup. When the end of the year comes, there's a lot of teams who are going to be looking for quarterbacks. Do you see us trading Brissett away, not getting rid of him, sounds harsh, but do you see us swapping him for anything?
I don't know. His contract is up after this year. I don't know how much he wants to keep Brissett. If anything, we would probably let Brissett go because his contract is like $25 million right now or something like that, $20 million. It's a pretty big chunk. It's pretty much the same amount, maybe $5 million less than Rivers is. He's going to want that same money, and I respect him for it because he can play. So, if you're that caliber of a player, $20 million is just fine. You can have it. But I don't think the Colts will re-sign a guy to be a backup if he's just going to want $20 million.
Yeah, understandable as well. Another player, Michael Pittman, thank God, thank the heavens he's back from injury because I think it was in the Ravens. He had a couple of snaps, but he didn't get tired. He was just in there to get back to game speed. Against the Titans, he made some good catches and some good plays. And now he's finally got his first touchdown in the NFL. And I did a welcome to the Colts rookie video for this channel, and I had to watch highlights of Michael Pittman. I thought this guy can play. I was surprised that he'd fell so low in the draft to the Colts. And once we got him, I was like, this guy's a stud. And watching him against Green Bay, he looked first round material. Now my question is, why did nobody pick him in the first round? Was it just because a lot of teams didn't need receivers, or did he not fit the marketing build, say?
I think it's because of the team he played for. He played for USC, I believe, in college. And USC is, don't get me wrong, it's kind of storied. It's definitely in SoCal, out in California, out the West Coast area. It's definitely storied, but it's not like an SEC team. It's not like Florida. It's not like Bama. It's not like anybody like that. It's not like LSU. It's not like Michigan. It's not like Michigan State. It's just not a huge school. Don't get me wrong, it's big, so it's just not huge. But he, coming out of college, didn't look like what he does now. It looks like he's just been being in the weight room. He looks like he's been lifting. Looks like he's been running. He looks faster than ever. I mean, if you can't tell, dude, the guy just catches the ball on the crossing route and takes it 45 yards. I mean, he looks like Juju Smith-Schuster to me. Like, he looks like Juju, but 6'4", so 3 inches taller.
Yeah. Obviously, as a lineman, you would have got busy in that last 2 minutes of the Green Bay game with all them. I was pretty much playing flag football today because there was more flags than actual playing.
God, that was fucking blood pressure raising, man. Jesus.
I want to say, from my point of view, or from what I see, because you might have seen more than me, most of them calls were BS. There might have been one or two, but they just felt like Vegas was trying to keep Green Bay in the game as much as they could.
Hey, man, that's what it looked like to me. It looked like they wanted to give Rodgers his chance at least.
Yeah.
That callback touchdown, man, that was ridiculous, though.
Yeah.
I mean, like maybe a second hold, not even that. It's like Nelson has him completely. The running back runs off his hip, and he reaches.
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor's 3 yards from him. He's not even close to getting him, and then they still throw the flag. Come on, man. Come on. Let that one play.
It's the age-old saying in American football is that, we want to watch and play. We don't. There's some things you don't want to see. So I understand the roughing the passer call. because it happened to poor Joey Burrow, who got rolled up on, and Tua. The injury didn't happen to him, but you take that many hits, and you don't like seeing that, so you understand why that's in there. But could you explain for me? I'm going to say for my fans, but it is for me because I don't understand how exactly the holding call works, if you get what I mean. When it comes to somebody running through a hole, it just looks like to me that Quentin's beat his guy to say.
Okay, the reason they called it on him is because his hand was outside of his shoulder. So whenever you block somebody, your hands are supposed to be on the inside, not supposed to be on the outside shoulder pads. It's supposed to be on that little – there's a plate right here. There's a plate, a rectangular plate, and you're supposed to grab both sides of it. Okay. And Quentin grabbed the outside shoulder. Now, you can get a hold of someone's outside shoulder as long as you're not impeding their process. Okay. But if you impede their process, which is what he did technically, but Jonathan Taylor was gone. So a lot of times they're not going to make that call because if the running back's gone, there's no reason to call a flag for a hold whenever a guy was never going to make a play anyways. It's kind of like the pass interference. If the ball's way over somebody's head, they're not going to call PI because, the ball wasn't catchable.
Yeah.
And it was the same thing for me. I think that's why I called it such just a crap hold, man. It is just it just made no sense because if they're going to play it by how they usually go, then that flag's never called, but they didn't. And how many holds they called, man, was just way over the top. There's no way you do that. At the end of a game, 2 minutes left, you just don't throw flags like that.
Okay. Yeah. A person who I always talk about, people must think I have an obsession with him, but it's Matt Eberflus. I thought he was starting to prove me wrong, and I really enjoyed that he was proving me wrong. But again, we're a slow starting team, and I don't like this approach when you look at the defense we've got. Okay, coming up against the Titans with our missing players, we're going to have to start slow and work things out a bit. But when you looked at that Green Bay team, and it was just Aaron Rodgers against us more than a great offense, I just thought, go after him a bit. Break out of that 4-3 base, like you said. Just rush 5, rush 6 with the plays we got, and we should have had more than one sack. Or you see something different that made you go, okay, that's why he's done it.
I mean, I agree with you. I think we don't send enough pressure. I think if you're I think we're the number one least amount of blitzing team in the league. So we blitz the least out of every team. I don't think that's a recipe for winning, especially in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
I understand we have a Tampa 2 team. It's doing really well, and I like that. But it would be really difficult for us to win if we somehow let Pittsburgh score 28 in the first half. That's just the fact of the matter. Same thing with the Chiefs. We let the Chiefs score 28 in the first half, we'll lose. His halftime adjustments are legendary at this point. I don't know how the hell he does it. I don't know what he's seeing that he's like, all right, halftime, guys, this is what we're going to clean up, and then they score 3 in 3 quarters. Second, third, fourth in the overtime. I don't know how that happens. I don't know what he's doing, especially if they're scoring 28 in the first half. I guess we did turn the ball over 3 times. That's going to give them points, of course, but I couldn't tell you. I watched the game plan. We really don't change much. We adjust to the inside seam a little bit. That interception from Rocky Sin was beautiful. That was before halftime, but man, that was beautiful.
Absolute Superman pick.
Yeah, dude. They ran that hole shot. That's a cover 2 beater. Cover 2 works. The corner's going to be down in the flats, safety over the top. So there's a little bit of middle ground right there in between that safety being over the top and the corner being underneath where that's going to be open. And they run that hole shot where they take the guy that's on the inside in the slot and then run him in between the safety up top and the corner on the flats. And Rocky Sin just diagnosed it like a doctor, man. He just knew exactly what was going on, got out there and got that pick. That was beautiful.
Yeah, you can't even say it was a bad throw by Rodgers. He put some absolute power into that throw. And when I saw the throw, I thought that was a completion. I'm not going to lie. I thought Green Bay were gone. It was very similar to the first completion Rodgers had down the sideline. Yeah, Rock Ya-Sin answering a few critics there and punching back from me, the Titans game. But I don't know what it is about being a Colts fan at the minute, but I feel like we're not getting the respect we deserve as a team. Maybe because we started a bit slow and, okay, a couple of weeks ago when our record was 6-3, we don't look like a good team. Now we're 7-3. If we can beat the Titans and the Texans, we're looking on for a very good season, and you'd say we'd be favourites of the division. Why is it the Colts are not getting the respect they deserve as a team? Do people just think we're done?
I couldn't tell you. Like I said, there's anyone that I really know that really likes this team and really knows the power rankings and stuff. Likes the Colts. I mean, I include you in that conversation. I include the underdog. I include a few other people on Twitter, that I really like. They'll say something, I'll be like, all right, let's listen to it. Most of the people on Twitter that I see tweet are just, my God, man, it is the most depressing shit on earth. Like it makes me cringe just having to read it. Like it'll be game day and this guy will be like, oh, there we go, we've lost. And then he'll change his name to Colts 6-4. I'm like, dude, like it makes me want to unfollow them, man. It just does so badly. But it's whatever. I guess we win, but I don't know why there's so many unoptimistic Colts fans. Like until we lose, dude, I don't give up. I'm just like, all right, we can still win this. 4 field goals, 2 touchdowns, fourth quarter. Yeah, we got this. Come on, guys.
2-minute drill. It'll be fine. It's all right. With the way our special teams are playing, I'd back us to pick 3 onside kicks and receive all 3.
Yeah, man, it's possible. Just Jordan Glasgow's a man on a mission out there.
Yeah, what a player. Also, a big shout out to Patman, was it, or Pinter, who got the first start in the offensive line. I can't remember. I'll have to double check that. I can't remember which one's the offensive lineman, but it was nice to see. It was a good all-round performance. Stressful, yes. A long physical game, yes, but we turned up for 90 minutes. Green Bay only turned up for 75 minutes, to say. But just before we get on to the Titans game and, that the big players missing there, just a big shout out to Rodrigo Blankenship. He missed one earlier in the game from 50, I think it was. He didn't miss it. It was just short. I mean, he hit the crossbar. You got to say that's just unluckiness. But this guy is looking like a really good kicker. And it must be the fact that he's building Lego sets the day before he gets picked for the kicking job. I love him. The world should love him because he's one for the underdog, isn't he, to say?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's exactly what he is. He's out of Georgia. He is nowhere near big in the, any way, shape, or form. The guy's just an average-looking human being that is just almost automatic from 50 and in from the field goal line. I've seen him kick like 55-yarders in practice and stuff.
Yeah.
I just think he put too much air on that one. I don't think noodle leg is kind of dumb. I don't think he he could have put more power onto that kick. He just didn't. He was just trying to loft, make sure it got over the line and make sure it went in. He didn't want it to get blocked.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a beast, dude. I really do like it. I like his personality, man. Just seeing he's friends with Ric Flair and shit. Oh my God, that must be so cool. Pull up to the function, get to see Ric Flair.
Imagine the nature boy being your absolute homeboy, to say your best mate. But yeah, I love the guy, and I think in a weird way, he just sums up what it is to be a Colt, and that is an underdog, not the biggest, not the strongest, but just absolutely gives it everything on the field. And I've loved to see that attitude from everyone. Special team, you see a lot of teams that don't take special teams serious, and they sort of just take things for granted. And a lot of players like to think, oh, I'll spend a year or two on special teams and then I'll take my step up into offense or defense. But you're seeing our building and our team that it's really taken seriously. And I don't know our special teams coordinator name, so I'd have to look that up. But he's got a real feeling that special teams wins games, and I like that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. He's a motivator. I've heard him talk. I don't remember his name either, but I heard him talk in a press conference, man, and he was just fired up about the special teams. Like, yeah, I get, okay, you're being a special teams coach. You come in there, you say good words about them if they're playing well. But just to be a guy that's fired up about special teams, like, I mean, that's pretty impressive to me. I don't think I could ever be fired up about special teams. I'm going to be honest. I don't care how good of a job they do. Like, thanks, guys. Appreciate it a lot. I mean, I couldn't get that hype. But it's really cool he does, and that's awesome how well he's got him coached.
Yeah, again, great win. Moving on to the next game tomorrow. Big game, the Titans. Obviously, they're going to want some revenge. The last time we played them, just a quick recap for anyone who doesn't remember, Julian Blackmon made Derrick Henry want to stop running. We just absolutely, I wouldn't say we walked all over them, but we just beat them up. We beat them up in a nasty fashion. So they're going to be coming out hard. They're going to be coming out fast. They're going to want revenge. And from what I know, Bobby Okerike's missing. D'Amico Autry's missing. And also, I want to say, was it DeForest Buckner or Justin Houston? One of them's missing. Or even both of them.
Yeah, Defoe, man. He's out.
Yeah. So this is really going to be a tough game. What do you think about this game, Xavier?
Yeah, it's going to be – I don't know. I don't know yet. Because the Titans are supposed to be missing their two best offensive linemen this game too. They're both questionable. Okay. Ben Jones and Roger Staffold, who are probably – Staffold's been top 15 in his position at left guard for the last 3 years, undoubtedly. Ben Jones is easily a top 10 center, top 12, somewhere around there. He's been that for the last 3 years as well. He's good. So, yeah, if they're missing them two guys, I really don't care because we're deep at the defensive line. Even if they're not missing them, I think we got – Tyquan Lewis can come down and play the D tackle, the 3 tech. He's about 300 pounds as it is, 280, 290, 300, somewhere around there. And he's explosive. He can play the 3 tech. We still got Big Grover down there. People don't know him. People are like, oh, D'Amico Autry and DeForest Buckner, you're all's best defensive linemen. No, they're not. It's DeForest Buckner and Grover Stewart. That's undoubted. That's just no question in my mind about that. We also got Kamoko Ture back, who did a pretty good job against Bakhtiari, false starting the whole game. Mm-hmm. And so he'll be against a guy that's a backup left tackle the whole game. I'm pretty confident. I mean, we still got Darius Leonard on the field. We still got Blackmon. We still got Xavier Rhodes. We still got Grover Stewart. We still got all kinds of people that are incredibly talented. I'm not incredibly worried about this game. Now, the thing I will say is DeForest Buckner put a lot of pressure on Tannehill and we did play him. And if we can't get pressure on him again, that will be duly missed because it's going to be a rough game if we can't.
Yeah. Is it in Tennessee? No, it's Lucas Oil, isn't it? I believe.
Yep. We're at home.
Yeah, we're at home. So hopefully that should help us out a little bit. A bit of a momentum. But again, the Titans, I watched the Titans-Baltimore game. Did you see that game?
Yeah, I did. I watched that whole one.
Yeah. And I watched that game and I was thinking throughout the whole game, how on earth did we lose to the Baltimore Ravens? It's baffling to say the least because for the most of our game versus the Ravens, I'd say we was better than them. We just costly mistakes, rookie errors. We just couldn't get into the third and fourth gear, whereas Baltimore did. But the Titans didn't impress me, but they still managed to grind out a win, which is what you need to do, and is what we did against Green Bay. So it's going to be a really tough game. the major factor, I think, of this game is going to be our offensive line and how they can hold up. Ryan Kelly, I think he might be out. Quentin Nelson is questionable. So it's going to be a really tough game in that sense. What I wanted to say is the Colts offensive line has received a lot of stick recently, a lot of flack, a lot of they've regressed and not as good as they think they are. It was all just a pipe dream, all that jazz. But I think that's because a lot of people are comparing this year's offensive line to an offensive line that was mythical, wasn't it? Let's be honest, last year, the offensive line and the year before was number one. I don't care what anyone says. It was number one. It was great. So I wouldn't say they've regressed. I would just say they're just as good. They've not done anything more. Do you think our offensive line's regressed, or are you on the same page as me?
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think there's been – I mean, regression doesn't happen to offensive linemen that are 28 and under, 27 and under. Like everyone on our offensive line is either Glowinski's 28, Kelly's 27, Braden Smith's 24, and then Quentin Nelson's 24. So them four guys alone, like they're not going to regress. They still got many quality years left. Glowinski's obviously been training because he is in the best shape of his life. He is definitely playing better. What I really think has happened, and I've said it a few times, it is just teams have really acclimated to what this offense is doing. We liked running the ball last year. We didn't have good quarterback play. Teams come in, they watch, like, all right, if we want to beat the Colts with Phillip Rivers, we have to stop the run first and foremost. Now Phillip Rivers is starting to beat people with his arms, and teams are like, what the hell do we do? I think that's why the run game's opened up. Teams are giving Phillip Rivers more respect, playing more coverage. They're getting out of that 7 in the box, 8 in the box mentality, especially in the last two games. What I see the most from watching the last two games, people aren't rolling that safety down that much. They're giving Phillip Rivers his respect. And now we're running all over teams. The last two games, we've had like 140, 150 yards apiece on the ground. We've just been running it down their throats. This is pretty much – Jonathan Taylor had a crazy game last game. Well, for his standards, he hasn't played great, but last game was definitely probably his best game I've seen from him all season.
Yeah, it was nice to see from JT. A lot of people say, he hasn't played great. But you got to think he'd come out of the draft with back-to-back 1,000-plus yards rushing as the main running back for Wisconsin, was it he come out of?
Yep.
Yeah. Who are a very good and very renowned running college team. And he's come into the Colts. He was meant to be behind Marlon Mack. That's no dig at Jonathan Taylor. Marlon Mack was the starter. He's a very good runner. And hopefully we have him back next year. But like you said, and you've said many times, is when teams see the Colts run, or, because the Colts are very obvious when we're going to run it. 3 tight ends, Jonathan Taylor, we're going to run it up your throat, and teams have been stacking the box. Now that, like you say, teams have to pay a bit more respect to Rivers' throwing game, Jonathan Taylor, I think, is going to be a breakout player in this last half of the year. But is it really interesting to see, who do you see, if you had to pick one, as our number one running back, Hines or Taylor?
Yeah, that's a hard question. I would go Taylor just because we drafted in the second round. He's just as fast as Hines and 40 pounds heavier. Like, the guy's just genetically he is one of the most genetically gifted guys at the running back position in the NFL, undoubtedly. He looks like Saquon. Like, he is built like Saquon Barkley. He doesn't run like Saquon Barkley, I'll say that much. Saquon is an absolute demon. I don't even know what to call that guy. Like, you line up against him and you're like, all right, he's going to break 4 tackles and take it to the house this play. Like, you don't even know what you're getting from Saquon on any given play. But Jonathan Taylor, he's just north-south runner. Means gets the ball, he either goes north or he goes south, depending on how this play goes. And most of his plays, he goes north. Most of the plays, he's getting 4 yards, 3 yards, somewhere around there. And then occasionally you'll see the defense break down. You'll see him get that big 16-yard gain and just absolutely truck somebody. Like, he's just fun to watch to me. I would rather give him the time. I'd rather give him the play. We are 7-3, so if he's not playing great, you know what? I'm cool with Hines coming in because Hines is a beast. Hines is good in his own right. He's a matchup nightmare for linebackers, especially coming out of the backfield. There's just a lot of things Hines can do that Taylor can't. There's a lot of things Taylor can do that Hines can't. So I think they're a good 1-2 punch in that respect. But to answer your question, do I think Hines should be our number one running back? No. I think Taylor should be that guy. He was drafted to be that guy. Let's let him be that guy. Quit. That doghouse bullshit just doesn't work, man. It don't work. As much as our running back coach wants to do that, and I know he's the running back coach, it don't matter what level you're at, high school, college, NFL, that does not work. It shoots confidence. And in a league that requires confidence like the NFL, you're taking it away from him doing that.
I agree with you. I don't like that. He's a rookie. He fumbled. He's probably going to fumble another so many times in his career. It happens. The guy who I really wanted to give a shout out to is Zach Pascal. I think this guy's done a phenomenal job this year. He's really stepped up as that undercover receiver. And what I mean by that, T.Y. Hilton did it a lot the year before, where he was the receiver who nobody covered because they didn't know how to cover. He just seems to come up with a play. 3rd and 7, Zach Pascal seems to catch it for 14 yards. And it's nice to say. Is there someone who you think deserves a bit of recognition at this point in the season?
Yeah, for sure. I like Zach Pascal. Like I said, there's a lot of things to like about Zach Pascal. He'll go high point the ball pretty well. He's not one of the best in the league, or he'd be doing it more, but he'll go get the ball. He makes contested catches. He don't care to take a hit. He is like 6'2", 6'1", 220. Like, the guy is a tank at the receiver position, so he can go over the middle. He can get hit by a linebacker and be just fine. And the number one thing he does that I really love is just block. And actually, on that touchdown play, it wasn't Nelson that got called. He got called for that, what I explained. It was Pascal. It was whenever he got trucked in the he got killed, man. Like, he went to block him, and he got absolutely killed. And they're like, oh, hold. What the fuck are you looking at? The dude just got blasted out of a hole. What do you mean?
Yeah. Actually, now you say it just came back up to mind. I think Zach Pascal was just walking backwards. He wasn't blocking. He was just a body in the way.
Yeah.
I think that was an absolute BS call. I think a lot of them were, to be honest. And
Aaron Rodgers got to have his chance, man. Come on.
And if Green Bay would have won, every single flag would have been bullshit. But
I've been riding.
Seeing as how we won, maybe just a couple of them were. But no, talk about Aaron Rodgers, future Hall of Famer, and do you watch the Pat McAfee show?
Oh yeah, Pat McAfee. Yeah, man, I love Pat.
Big shout out for him if he ever watches this. Not that he will, but you never know.
It could happen.
Yeah, it could happen. And seeing Aaron Rodgers on there, and it was so humbling because he didn't come out with the excuses. He didn't say this. He didn't say that. He stuck up for his teammates, which is nice to see. But
yeah, usually don't do that. That was what was really surprising to me.
Yeah.
It's not that he like dogs them. It's just he'll give his receivers this death glare, man. They'll drop a pass. He'll be like just staring at them the whole time, man. I'll be like, damn, man, I wouldn't want to be on the end of that icy stare. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. And it was, it was nice to get it from the other point of view because it's always easy to say, oh yeah, we won. Yeah. All that, celebrate and, be a sore winner. But just watching Aaron Rodgers and, seeing him talk about the loss just made me think, it's more than football, isn't it? It's about enjoying the game, especially these quarterbacks who are coming to the last few years to the career. There's a lot of them. I'll get onto that in a minute. But it's just about enjoying the game. And it seems like, although he lost, he generally enjoyed playing the Colts.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers is one of them guys that's really – he's got a lot of respect in the league. And that's one, because of his play, and two, because of his demeanor. He is incredibly poised in every situation you ever see him in, talking to the media, anything like that. The guy just knows what to say. He's like you said, he's humble. He doesn't win and rub it in somebody's face. He doesn't lose and blame the refs, blame something else, blame his receivers. He just does his thing every Sunday. Does it at an elite level. And then, if he loses or wins, he does it with grace. So that's something I really do love about Aaron Rodgers.
That's it. So getting on to quarterbacks, Tom Brady, last 1 or 2 years. Drew Brees last year. Phillip Rivers, last 1 or 2 years. Matt Ryan, last 1 or 2 years. Aaron Rodgers, maybe 3 years. And there's going to be a big shift in quarterbacks coming the next 5 years, especially from what we've grown up watching. Is there something in the pipeline you see the Colts doing, or do you just see us riding this Rivers wave out?
Next year. Now, this is – if the Green Bay Packers do this, they have absolutely messed up. That's all I got to say. If they do what I'm about to say, they have absolutely shit the sheets, dude, and rubbed it in. There's no other way to put it. If they let Aaron Rodgers walk to let Jordan Love play, the Colts are going to get Aaron Rodgers. We are going to have Aaron Rodgers on our team, and he's going to be coached by Frank Reich, and we're going to be destroying pretty much every team we play. It's not even going to be close. We're going to have the same defense. We're going to have the same offensive line. We're going to have the same running backs. We're going to have the same receivers. Everyone's on contract right now. We're not losing anybody to free agency other than maybe Justin Houston, which if we do, I think we're drafting edge this year anyways in the draft. So we'll get like Kwity Paye or Osai from Texas, who are both two very talented guys and will come in and make an immediate impact on this Colts defense. And so we would have Kemoko Turay and dude, if we had Kwity Paye and Kemoko Turay coming off the edge for us, oh my God, bro. We would be nasty. We would be nasty. We would really be one of the best teams in the league, undoubtedly, on defense. Not that we all already are. It's just we'd be even better. There's just so much potential this team has. We haven't reached it. Next year, I think we're going to see the real version of what this team can be. I think this year is a teaser, and we're already so talented. But next year is going to be like the real deal. What we're really going to be. We're really going to shine through. And if we can get Aaron Rodgers to be on our team for a couple years, to end his career, hey, I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it.
Hey, he's very good friends with Pat McAfee, so you never know. You never know. He might be, pulling the strings behind the scenes, Agent McAfee.
Help us out here, Pat.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love Aaron Rodgers. You could only see him doing good things with the Colts. My problem is, I stupidly, but maybe a bit wholeheartedly because I love the Colts. When I was on Shuffle the Pack with Gary and James, please say I got the names right. I hope I have, otherwise I look silly. But I said the Colts are going all the way. We're going to win the Super Bowl with Phillip Rivers. He retired Super Bowl champion finally. He's been meaning to do it for years. He's just never won the Super Bowl. Now he's got a team to do that. If we do, the unthinkable this year and we do go and win the Super Bowl, where do we go from there?
We might just re-sign Phillip Rivers. If he wins this Super Bowl, fuck it, dude. Come on back. Yeah. If he wins the Super Bowl, you're coming back. For him to do that anyways, he'd have to play great the rest of the season. If he can do that, then I'm all for it because his arm is definitely limited. But if he's winning a Super Bowl, it means that he's adjusting his game to his limited arm and playing great. So, his throw power isn't what it used to be. I'll say that. That's a damn fact. But it's not like Peyton Manning his last season. Like Peyton Manning's last season, the dude he couldn't throw the ball. Like he was obviously done. But his defense got him that Super Bowl that he deserved. He was in 4 Super Bowls, only won 2. And arguably the one in 2008 versus the Saints. Oh my God, man! I don't know how we lost that onside kick. Fuck, dude, it was just bull. I was young at the time. I was like 9 watching that game, and I saw that halftime onside kick, and I was like blown away, man.
It happens. It happens. It's football. But
it's football.
That's the beautiful thing. You look at the 2000 and was it 2006, 7 when we played Chicago? 2006, I want to say.
Yeah, 06 season.
Yeah. When you look at that Super Bowl game, pouring down rain in Florida. It was Florida. Prince is singing Purple Rain at halftime with the rain lashing down. And it was a very good. People who don't watch football a lot won't believe that it was a very good Chicago team who was playing. It wasn't a bad Chicago.
Man. Brian Urlacher, Chicago, holy shit. That guy was a menace out there.
And it was that's just the Super Bowl, isn't it? You never know. It's like the Eagles and Patriots, everyone thought, oh, this is going to be Brady, another ring, another win for the Patriots. Frank Reich, of all people, breaks out the Philly special, and the rest is history.
The Philly special.
Yeah.
I love that play call, man.
I was watching it with my friend who's a big Eagles fan, and obviously it's like 4 a.m. in the morning over here. And we was on barracks and everyone was asleep. And we just see that happening. It's just like, what the? And we just honestly was like, what's going on? This is mental. I don't think even he could believe that Philly actually won a Super Bowl. But that's the magic of football. I think that's all I've got for today's show, unless you want to throw anything else in there.
Yeah, that's pretty solid. I mean, for the Colts, there's a few things I forgot to touch on. Nelson Kelly. You said that Quentin's questionable, so is Kelly. Quentin had a light practice yesterday, so he might be okay. Kelly didn't though, so that's kind of grim. That's kind of like, why aren't you practicing Friday? So I don't know if Danny Pinter starts. That would be unfortunate because I would rather have Kelly. The biggest game of our season, I'd love to have Kelly. But Danny Pinter's talented, man. He is undoubtedly our best backup. He is the most NFL ready. He is the most physically gifted of any of our backups. He's quick. He's tall. He's strong. He's definitely stronger than Le'Raven Clark and Chaz Green. Chaz Green was playing with was getting put in like. Him and Le'Raven Clark were just getting traded in and out every drive. I didn't know what the hell they were doing. Chaz Green was a 3rd-round pick out of Florida, I think. And I mean, Chaz Green honestly looked better than Le'Raven Clark. So people were like, "Oh, it's getting from worse to worse or whatever." Even though that's not even a word, it's just they were just making the joke, play on words, I guess.
Yeah.
And I thought Chaz Green looked pretty good. I mean, for what a backup should be.
Yeah, and you need the depth, don't you? We'd love to go through the season with just our starting offensive line, and they play brilliant every game, but they are just humans at the end of the day. The big lads taking big hits for 60 minutes every Sunday.
It's a brutal position, man. It really is.
Yeah. And then you put training on top of that. They're going to get aches and pains, and they're going to get hits and bruises and stuff like that. So you do need backups, and although Le'Raven Clark isn't the greatest, he's another body who might just buy Philip Rivers that extra half a second.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something, going away from that a little bit, something I really do like about the new generation of football, especially like just every team in the NFL training, how the training works now. In the 70s, it was more of like, people talk about a warrior mentality. That's still alive in football. Like, don't get me wrong, like people want to play, but they don't really take chances with injuries, especially great players. Like, someone has like a sprained ankle. They're not like, yeah, you're playing this Sunday. No one's doing that anymore, especially for like a offensive lineman. You're just asking to break it. You're just asking to make it worse. Let people take time off. I don't want Quentin to miss this game. He had a light practice. He doesn't really have any issue. He was just more resting, keeping that injury. He didn't want to re-aggravate it at practice. Now, if Kelly has to miss, as much as I hate for it to be this game, I'm fine with it. He is a franchise center. He is, we signed him to that big contract. We need to keep him. We don't need him to get injured. We don't need him to have a serious injury.
Yeah. And, you look at the news that's coming out of Tampa with A.Q. Shipley, who is a legendary Hall of Fame player. And it looks like he's now got a career-ending injury. And that's just football. So we do really need to look after these guys. And if it means we miss Kelly for this game when we lose, but we're still in the playoffs, and the Titans have not, I'd take that all day long.
Yeah. Yes, A.Q. Shipley. He plays for who's he play for? Tampa Bay. Is that who he plays for? Yeah.
It was chasing a ring with Tom, wasn't
he? Yeah, I think so. He definitely. Tom Brady's there. Who did he play for? Who? The Cardinals. I know he played for the Cardinals. Did he play for the Colts at one point?
I'd have to check. If you give me a second, I'll check.
Yeah. I know he played for the Cardinals. I just don't. I really want to say he either played for the Colts or the Cowboys. Can't remember.
Pittsburgh.
Okay. Gotcha.
Pittsburgh Cardinals. And me and that's being really slow, so. There we go. He did play for the Colts. He played for Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Colts, Baltimore. He did 2 stints at Indianapolis, Arizona Cardinals, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He played for Indianapolis throughout the 2012 and 2014 season.
Yeah, I remember him being here when Luck was here and when Curtis Painter was here too. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, my God.
But Hall of Fame player who is unfortunately, got that career-ending injury. Talking about the Bucs, just lastly before we go, because we've nearly been talking for an hour now. Did you see Tom Brady just absolutely snub Jared Goff in the Rams game?
Oh man, Tom Brady's a big baby, dude. Everyone knows that. Even Shannon Sharp called him out for it. Guy's just a man-child toddler. I don't even know what to say about him anymore. That's just how Tom Brady is. He gets pissed. He leaves. I mean, it's not the most disrespectful thing you could have done. You could have been like Harbaugh, walk out to midfield and just been like, here, shake my hand. And just walking off, like, come on, man. That was way uncalled for. Especially for Vrabel standards.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it from me. I believe that's it from you, Xavier. Yeah, it's been the Colts Saturday show. I'm sure you'll see us tweeting a lot tomorrow, especially with the big game against the Titans coming up. Xavier, what is your tweet handle?
If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter at I'm the HOA. No spaces, nothing.
There you go. The HOA, high octane, one of the best brains in the game.